Welcome to the 10 Great Dates. We are so excited that you have decided to go on this journey of 10 great dates. And date number 1 is choosing to prioritize your marriage.
Which, if you're doing the 10 great dates, I feel like you're already doing it.
That's right. You already gotten to this point. Congratulations.
You're prioritizing
We
your
are
marriage.
super excited for you. We did and went on every single 10 great date ahead of time. And so we have been through this journey. We've loved doing this journey. And we created some video documentaries, some video journaling, if you will, that we
if you want to
on
watch
each date.
it.
So if you want to watch it, you will want to watch it. Gentlemen, especially date 3, you want to keep an eye out for that one. And follow along with us. And it was fun. It was super fun. So follow along with us. We would love for you.
They'll be at the end. The clips will come at the end of our dates.
Yeah. As you journey with us through this, you're going to understand how cool these dates are and how they really even connected us closer together and taught us. And we're counselors by trade and by education. And so we felt like we were pretty good when we first got married.
When we first got married.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we got married and then we had kids and we were realizing like, no, we just don't. But like, we don't really have it all figured out like we thought we did. And these 10 great dates, what's fun about these 10 great dates is they're fun.
Yes.
They're positive, but they also teach you a lot about yourself and one another, which was really cool about it. That's what I loved about it.
Totally. It's a much more light-hearted way of approaching stuff that's sometimes difficult to talk about, sometimes difficult to learn, especially if it's new. But it's fun. It's a fun way to do it. And what's great, so if you go along in the book, so you can read, there's just short chapters for those non-readers, certain males. You're a reader.
I'm a reader. And if you get this, if you have this DVD curriculum and you don't have the book, you're going to need the book. Because if you don't have the book, you can't do the dates because there's exercises, there's assessments, and there's a lot of teaching points that we're not going to cover because we don't need to reiterate everything that's in the book, but we're going to walk you through the key points and how we were impacted by it to help launch you on your dates.
Yeah. So in the back, there's a dating guide, and there's a little, like for non-readers, there's a little chapter summary. It's like 1 paragraph, so you can get up to speed on what your wife has probably been reading all week. And
or in our case, what I was reading all week.
That's so true.
Let's be honest.
That is so true. I don't have time to read, really. But that's okay. There's also dating exercises. And they're perforated. So you just literally tear them out, and they're duplicates. So I have one, he has one. You can fill them out, do them before you go on the date, and then bring them with you. And it really just helps set the tone and prep you for the date. And I think, like, build up the anticipation. Absolutely. It's been great.
That's what's been huge to her is the anticipation.
I need something to look forward to.
Looking forward to the date.
Doesn't everyone?
It's been fun for her.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Been fun for her?
It's been
what
fun.
About you?
The anticipatory part of it is super fun for you.
But it's
more fun for you than it is me. The actual date is the most fun for me.
Yeah.
The anticipation of the date is as exciting as the date for you, I would say. Because
it's like childlike, but yes, it's probably true.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And so make sure that you're going through the book because it was super helpful for us.
Yeah.
When we went on our first date, we realized date one, we had hit a point in our marriage, as I mentioned. We talk about being marriage counselors and that kind of thing, or just counseling backgrounds. But we hit a small crisis in our marriage shortly after we had our first child, and
probably the day we had our first child.
Well, but we didn't know it then. About a month in, her parents were staying with us. We had a baby that was colic, acid reflux, and just not sleeping and screaming, and it was awful. And there was a point right after that her parents, I think they had just left. And you know how it is when people are staying with you to begin with, you're not truly connecting all that much. And then post-baby, it makes it amplifies that.
Yes.
And we were at a point where I can remember I walked in, we were in the hallway right outside our kitchen, and I went, and we were short with each other, and we were not connecting. And I can remember hugging Christy, and she just lost it. I mean, she just started crying. Yeah. And we had hit an ending. We had hit a point in our marriage.
I think what I said was, I
brutal.
just don't feel like we're connecting anymore.
That's what you said, yeah. I just don't feel like we're connecting anymore.
And I don't even know who we are anymore.
Yeah.
It was a very new dynamic, being new parents. We also hadn't slept in literally weeks, probably. And I was lost in it.
And for me, in my brain, I'm always thinking about, well, we'll get there. We'll fix this. Maybe tomorrow we'll get there. Let's get through this season and then we'll get there. And the reality is if you think that way, it's like going to the gym, right? Planning your New Year's resolution and going to the gym, and I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. And when you prioritize the marriage today, choosing a high priority marriage today, it starts today. And it starts right now. And so for us, that was really crucial. That was a crucial moment for us beginning to prioritize today our marriage.
But it's difficult because we obviously recognize seasons. Life happens in seasons, and that was a very difficult season for us.
That's right.
For those of you who are in the military and maybe one of your spouse is deployed, that is a very difficult season. But I think what we've learned, whether you're walking through kid pressures, if you're walking through financial pressures, work pressures, emotional or physical health pressures right now, there are times when obviously you can put maximum effort into your marriage. There are times it'll be minimum, and sometimes, somewhere in between. And
no matter what's going on in our relationships, we tend to get into protective mode. But over time, that disconnects us more than connects us.
In those times of stress. But I think what we learned was that there are ways you can still prioritize your marriage regardless of the season you're in, regardless of how much effort you can put in at this point, you can still prioritize it.
And so the 3 principles for high priority marriage in the context of the chapters, you take a look at this, is number 1, what reality is looking at your marriage now.
Evaluate
where you're at right now. Yeah. And you can use a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning our marriage is never going to get any better. It's as best as it could be. 1 meaning I'm ready to file divorce papers. You could be at a 4. The goal of 10 Great Dates is, hey, let's take you to a 6. Or let's figure out a way to get to a 7, or from a 6 to an 8, right? And so let's increase it. But let's evaluate where we are right now so that we can begin to connect today.
I think often we just don't take time to evaluate where we're at, especially in a relationship.
And that's why it's important then, number 2, is commit to growing closer together. And when you make that commitment, one of the key ways of doing that is writing down short and long-term goals for your relationship. And as you're going to see throughout the 10 Great Dates, writing things down and getting them on paper is going to be crucial. Because when you put those short and long-term goals down on paper, it makes them realistic, and it gives you something to shoot for.
I think it's so helpful because it makes the abstract concrete. It's in black and white. It gives you something to just tangibly go after, whereas relationships can often feel real fluid and there's not much, we're okay-ish. I'm not really sure. We'd love to be better. But this is a real concrete way to sort of move forward.
Yeah. And then the third one is committing to staying close. Committing to practicing old skills, communication skills that you might have learned in the past, and then learning new ones, learning new ways to connect. And we're going to, as you go through the 10 Great Dates, that's what's so exciting about the 10 Great Dates, is you learn new skills along the way. And we learned counseling skills in graduate school, but when you're in it, when you're into marriage, it's very different. Yeah. And so you're going to learn really cool ways to connect with one another in positive, fun ways throughout these 10 Great Dates that we're super excited that you're able to do. And so we went on this first date, which was super cool because, as you'll see in the clip, we went to one of our favorite restaurants. And this first date, when you do the exercise, it's a trip down memory lane.
I love this one.
And you go back to what connected you to begin with.
Yes.
And what makes you a strong team. Because in our wedding vows, and we didn't know this, we wrote our separate wedding vows, but I said to her, I will fight for you and not with you. And you said
that I will be your teammate.
That you'll be my teammate. And so we approach marriage as a team, and we
didn't mean to be like sports analogies, but it worked.
But it worked, and we love sports, and so it works out really well. When we went on that first date, there was a wedding taking place in a barn right outside of the restaurant that we went to.
That was like.
So we went outside and we danced, and so you can see that in the clip. Yeah. It was really, really cool. But
we had literally just been talking about when we first met, and that was what was fun.
Neat. Yeah, we talked about our wedding.
And then we walk outside, and there's literally a wedding taking place outside. It was really cool. But I think what's neat about it too is going back down memory lane, just going back to the beginning. We were different people. Like, I remember vividly what I thought, what I was nervous about. And it's just so cool to go back there and then see where we are now.
Yeah. And
You know?
to focus on what unites you, to
Yes.
focus on what truly connects you
The
together.
good.
And looking at that. And so as you go on these dates, just a few guidelines, make sure you look at this in the book, but keep it positive, keep it fun, and be future oriented. Look towards the future. Don't look at the past. Don't dwell on past issues and
This
past
is the
stuff.
only one where you'll talk about the past, but that's just how you met.
But how you met, the positives. We're focusing on the positives. And then also don't make this about, don't have conversation about the kids. There will be one date you can talk about the kids, but it's a twist. When you get to date number 8, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's a twist. So don't talk about the kids. Don't talk about work. And don't talk about...
In-laws.
Boy, I didn't even...
Don't talk about
Don't
your
talk about in-laws. Talk about you and how you connect together.
Yeah.
So here, if you're interested, are a few clips from our first date. We are filming from our van on our very first 10 great dates. And as we pulled in to the place that we're going to tonight, Christy?
There happens to be a wedding going on, which I find ironic.
Very ironic that there's a wedding going on while we are on our first...
Like, we couldn't even find somewhere
to prioritize our marriage. And all of these lovely people right here are getting ready to go to a wonderful evening, beautiful day, wedding. And we're getting ready to go in and prioritize our marriage.
And talk about how we met.
And talk about how we met.
And everything before we got married. What life was like.
All
way
those
back
fun
then.
things. So...
Yeah, that was easier.
We'll see you soon. We are on our date night, prioritizing our marriage.
Yeah.
And listen, we're kind of like hijacking this wedding reception.
It's a wedding.
Give it up for him, yo.
Give it up
So we're going to give a little bit of a break at this time. We're going to invite Lizzie's father to the dance floor.
and marriage.
Eric, would you please take your mother?
It's the
he's there.
father.
It's where it all begins, which is what we were just talking about.
Our favorite part of our wedding.
I know.
And we were talking about our favorite part of our first year of marriage.
Yeah, first, and then the last 12
And then
months.
the last 12 months, we were talking about that too.
You know the song. Isn't this...
Where you wanna go.
This is so cool. We had such a great date. I mean, it was just our first one, but
It was.
it was really great.
And I know you can't really see us right now,
Like vaguely, maybe in the dark, but
but we are listening to the wedding reception. And we're dancing outside of the wedding reception and kind of like wedding crashing in a
we're
way.
totally wedding
We're
crashing.
totally wedding
I
crashing
totally
right
want
now
to sneak
on this
into that
date.
big, large barn tent thing.
Is this life becomes all that you want to, your dreams big